Hello, it's Dorothy Kelty of Raquinelli Creations, and I watched a video this morning by Kathleen Maurer of Be Again Books, and she showed another technique that I just loved. It's apparently something that she had another video on a while ago, but figured it was time to do it again. Now, what this is doing is it's going to be using envelopes. And so I've got a couple, these are like vintagey envelopes. And so what you have to do is take the envelope apart. I've already took these apart. This one I had a hard time taking apart. It is a vintage envelope. If you see this coloring on the edges here, I didn't have that. I inked around the edges here, but I did not have to ink around here because it already has the vintage discoloration. Okay, now these can be used for so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it's a belly band, and it could be glued onto a page as a second double belly bands or a double belly band, or it could be, just, put as a tuck spot or stuck in a pocket or something, okay? So the first thing we want to do, so here is the envelope, like this, before I took it apart. And so you took them apart. The first thing you want to do is glue these flaps down because you don't want them getting stuck, especially if, like I did, you had a problem with, you had to get the pages wet to take them out. And so they're kind of wrinkly. I could iron these or something, to make them stick better. But you really want to make sure that the edge and the point are glued down flat, because you don't want, when you're sliding something in this belly band, you don't want it getting in the way. So let me glue these down, and then I'm going to show you how to make this belly band. Now I make clusters and have them ready. And so one of the things that you could do is you could just pull out a cluster that you've already got to decorate this. But I'm going to do the slightly slower version. Let me take this brayer and see if I can just roll these down and get it all tight. Okay. All right. Now what we're doing is, this is going to be a belly band here. And then, like I said, it can be glued on the page. You could glue it, either way you wanted. You could glue it this way as a horizontal belly band by gluing on two sides, or it could be a vertical belly band, or it could be glued down as a pocket or tuck spot. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this. And the reason I grabbed this one is it's a little smaller. It'll be easier for you to see everything that I'm doing, I think. So once again here, we want to make sure the points are glued down. So instead of putting the pointy across the top over it, I'm going to put the flat stop. Now, there's no reason for this. It could be done either way, absolutely no problem. But I want to show you that when you're doing this, you want this point to be glued down really well, okay? And then you're going to glue down this. So if I take this now, put that down and put this over here, okay? And then I want to make sure that there's nothing, sticking underneath, okay? So I can hold this down and slide this under a little bit. Okay, so that's going to be the belly band. That's going to be where we're going to just take and stick something down here, a card down here, okay? So then we want to decorate this, and you can cover up the whole envelope. You could make your own envelope out of some really pretty paper, but I honestly love these vintage envelopes. And even this embossing here with the Hallmark, I'm just gonna rub this over that a little bit and maybe emphasize it just a little bit more, okay? So now I need a collage across here, and I have this 1880 something, I think, vintage German paper, and I just think this is lovely, okay? So, and I'm making this up as I go, so. Okay, so I'm tearing this around, and I'm going to put this, and I'm not going to put it straight. I'm going to put it as a slant. Also, it doesn't have to. It can stick over this side, these sides, as long as you don't put glue there, so you glue it down. So let's say I'm going to put that there. Now, what else would be fun to put on here? Let's see. You could use a little bit of lace. You could use, here I have some corrugated cardboard. That could go down there, that would be fun. This is some music paper, so that could also be fun on there. Let's see, what if we did this? Let's put this underneath here, like that. This here, and then this here. So that kind of makes a little background, and then I can take and put something in the center of this to decorate it. So let me just take this. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So I'm putting glue around these little holes on this player piano paper so that it will, so that those don't easily tear. Okay, and then this one is going to go here, but I don't want to completely cover up the Hallmark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue around these edges here, like this, but then put glue right along this line here. So that means that when I put this down like this, it off here. Put that down like that. The glue to hold it here is underneath here a little bit, so it's not interfering with that, okay? So now here's this nice texture. We'll kind of put that like there. Let's see. I'm trying not to cover this up. I want that to be part of the design. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. Now, because I've taken both sides of the cardboard off of this. I don't remember where I had this, frankly. Let's see, that's open. Okay, like that. Okay. This can flatten a lot more. Whoops. I made a mistake. Now, the other thing I do when I make mistakes like this and get glue where I don't want it is simply to take some wax paper, which I have right here handy, and then put the wax paper underneath where I want it to stay apart. You could do this before you started gluing, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it too. Okay, so I have that. So I have some interesting papers in the background. And now I need something kind of pretty for a focal point on this. What do we have here? So those are some things that I've cut out. We have her. We have this face is kind of smaller. This is an actual photograph of someone. Too big. Here's a couple smaller ones. Okay. And we also have this one. This one is like, it looks like a real negative, but no, it's not. I think it's a sticker. Let me see. Yeah, it comes apart right here. Doesn't it? Let go, let go. Okay. If you take a pin and put it through it, it really doesn't, yeah, look at that. Okay, but I think what I'm gonna do here is trim this, okay? So you have this woman in this beautiful, you can't really see it, I don't think, but it's like one of those bamboo chairs that have the huge background. So I'm gonna take this off. I got this in Happy Mail. It, could be like a Tim Holtz or something. I don't really know. I just loved it, so. Okay, so if we put this on here, okay, let's get that pin back out again. I'm going to put this off to the side a little bit just because I like that. Okay, and there we go. So now we have something that's kind of fun. So then you can take and put, like I say, a card or something inside here after you attach it to the page. I am going to do another one with this page. Now this is, let me throw this away. This is a vintage one, and then once again, I'm going to put this narrow part here, or the flat part here, on the top. It gives me more of a kind of a nice edge and stuff there. So, but the first thing we want to do is to glue these down, okay? As you can see on the inside of this, I just took some old washi tape and reinforced the edges in some of this. When I was taking this apart, it was really, it was trying to tear up. I had to get it wet to wet the glue, but it still just wanted to stick. It was just really being difficult. So there were places that it tore outright, or places that it was thin. And I didn't want that thinness there. So I reinforced all the places that I thought had a problem. Okay, and so now this envelope can come over here. Now this is automatically going to be offside your plan kind of big. If you like things that are like put in the center and lined up carefully, you may not be as happy with this, but I like it offside, so for me this is really good. Once again, I'm going to use some of this this German vintage paper or antique paper. Over 100 years is antique, so I'm just going to pull the edges off of this right at the start, and then I'll decide what size I'd like it to be and all the rest of that later. I'm saving these edges. These will go on a master board, which will make great backgrounds for things. So this pretty much can go right over here completely, okay, if I want to. So let's start with this again. I'm going to glue along this top edge, okay, and down just a little bit. And I'm going to glue around this bottom edge here. And then I'm going to take and put this down and put this across it. Okay, let's just use the brayer to put it down again. Okay, So you could actually take this and trim this edge here a little bit, okay? I like the fact that it's a vintage envelope and that it looks like a vintage envelope, so that I'm not going to do it at this time. If I decide it's getting in the way, I may change my mind. Also, because this has this vintage return address, I may decide to kind of keep it and go ahead and either put it in a larger book or let it stick out. See, this would stick out above my book if I had one. So I could trim this down. There'd be nothing wrong with me cutting this down, and maybe I'll decide to do that in the future. But for right now, I don't want to do that. I want to leave it the way it is. And here we go again. Being sloppy with my glue and getting things stuck together. It was just a little tiny piece there. So, okay, so now how are we going to decorate this one? I don't know. I don't want this whole thing. I like this inset here. So this can go across here. Now I have, these were part of an exchange. We painted flowers. And this came to me from Sally Denmark, I believe. Sally somebody, other, and I think it was Sally Denmark. And so I have these beautiful flowers. So I was thinking about maybe using part of that. Now, the other thing that I could do is I have this image of this woman with a hat. And that's really pretty. Let me find my decal edge scissors. Not those, not those, not those. Huh. Oh. Well, this is not decal edge, but this will do. See how I like the way this looks. You know, so many of us had bought these different kinds of scissors when we were doing scrapbooking, and it's really fun to use them now. So let's see if I do this and this. This and this. What if I did this? What if I put this like this? And then put this here. This here. And then put this on like this. Whoops. Huh. What about different ones? Let's see what else I've got here. What if I used this and this? Okay, well, I'm going to give that one a try. I rather like it. I'm going to use this smaller piece here. Okay, and I am going to ink the edge. I want all the edges of this really old paper glued down because it is fragile and it could tear easily in the future. So by gluing it down like this, hopefully it'll help protect it. Okay. And then this can go. I just want it to come on. Once again, I'm going to ink the edges of this. Now, another thing that I could do, and what I was originally thinking about doing, is tearing around it a little bit. But I think that I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, we'll put these right close to the edge like that. Okay, and then we'll take this and how do I want it? I don't want it, I don't want to cover up her face because I rather like her face. This one, there's white around where it was cut out. So I'm just going to take yeah, be careful not to do that. It's okay, I'll just patch it back together as I glue it on. Okay, darn it. Although it does give me the option of curving it a little bit, doesn't it? Let's see, this goes like this. How did I want this? Like this? Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to start out with this piece because this is the piece that frames her face. And so I'm going to have it, I can place it where I want to make sure it doesn't do that. Now I can attach this to it. Oh, I can be so just sloppy sometimes. You know, like tearing this when I did it. Ah! Okay. So let's put this here. This. And then we'll take this. We're going to ink this one too. There's like white in the center here. So I'm going around these as well. Okay. And this actually kind of matches her dress there, which is really nice. So that will go right like that. Okay, so now I have two of these belly bands, double belly bands. So if I glued it up here, now another thing that I could actually do is fold it down and trim this off and this when I make the belly band. And that way, let's see. Yeah, so if I fold it down here and here, when I put it on the page, see, that would give me more room underneath to put things, and it also makes this shorter so it's not sticking up, or I could even do this. This really doesn't matter because if you take a look at this, if I just turn the bottom under, then you have full access on the top, and it just makes it a little bit of a peekaboo pocket down here. Okay, so that is my envelope pockets. Kathleen, I loved this technique. I'm so glad I saw it. I need to go back and watch more of your old videos to see what other things I've missed. That's a lot of fun. Okay? So thank you, Kathleen Maurer of Be Again Books. Thank you to everybody for watching my channel and for liking and subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you all another time.